Hello and welcome back to another episode of Draft Chats. Today I'm joined by the Gib Show, the one and only, the former journalist, gone football manager, content creator. He's here today for some draft mode and some draft chats. Guys, we're here with Gib today. How you doing, mate? Welcome in.
Very well, Murph. How are you doing? How's yourself?
Very good, mate. Looking forward to this draft pool. So, as I mentioned in the intro to everyone, it is a very specific draft pool on places where Gib has actually lived. So, we've got Celtic and Rangers in Scotland, Leeds, Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday, the Manchester clubs in Man City and Man United, and Lille. So, a very interesting draft pool today. I'm the first choice, and I'm here chatting away. I'm not getting my first pick in, so I probably should not mess around in longer and
I've managed to live in a few interesting places through the years, so I thought it'd make quite an interesting pool to only go from those teams. So now I get to try and remember who plays for these teams that I now have no interest in whatsoever.
So the first thing we do on the channel, always, we ask basically the creators who you support, what's the background behind the club, or the origin story of your fan base with this club, and so straight away, who do you support?
Well, it should be pretty obvious. I'm wearing the jersey. I support Lille. I have done since 2004. The story behind it, I'm hoping got enough time in this video to get through it. I'll try and give you the abridged version. I had a bit of a kind of football scarf collection going on. My friend's mum was going to France on a work trip and mentioned she was going to a game. I was like, get me a scarf. She comes back with this Lille scarf, and I'm like, who the fuck are they? Never heard of them. I think we'd actually watched them beat Man United in the Champions League. I think it was either a few weeks before or a few weeks after. I actually got to see them play. I think it might have been before. So I still didn't know who they were. The Sheru brothers playing for them. And then, and as people will probably, if you know me, I can't go half in on things. I either get obsessed by it or I don't care. And as you know, see me making content on YouTube on Football Managers, like I get fully invested. So I started researching, and it wasn't like nowadays where you can just go and watch any team in the world. You had to really struggle. You maybe got some like really badly streamed footage that would cut out like every 2 seconds, or you just had to kind of look at results. It's really difficult to kind of get obsessed. I think you could probably get more obsessed now than you could back then. I'm trying to see, you've got me here, Murph, because I'm trying to talk about my past and pick players at the same time. whereas you're just sat there like,
relaxing,
researching. If you watch this, viewers, this is why he's going to win all these, because the person drafting's got to talk at the same time. Anyway,
say that I don't know if I've won any yet.
I was, that's more on you, isn't it?
That's just me being shit drafting.
I was involved in a Pro Evo forum, and there was a guy who had basically gone through every League One team, changed all the stats to like reflect the team, and he wanted everyone to pick a team and then report back how they went and like how the players played. So if you tell him like, oh, this left back's marauding down the left and putting crosses in, and that's not what he does, he knows he's not got that right. So I think I spent like 10 seasons playing as Leo, having never watched them play an actual game, but I knew who everyone was. Like, I know all the players, strengths and weaknesses. Like, I know this team better than they know themselves. I've never seen them play an actual game. So that kind of got me really invested. And then, oh God, it's me to draft. Okay, what do I need? Where's it? Is that who I've got? Okay,
current squad.
This is not going well. Let's just see who I like the sound of. Do you know what? I'm going to stick it. I've picked at least one Celtic player. Yeah, so I think it was I supported them since 2004. 2006, it was the start of the season. They were playing Lens, which is the big Derby du Nord in France, big derby game. And it was on, I think it was, you could start watching on like the betting channel started showing like League One and stuff. You could watch it. That was like, that was like the breakthrough for me. I can now actually watch this team. So I got to watch them play Lens, and we won 4-0. Odin Wingy scored a hat trick. That was me. I was in like winning a derby game. Like the atmosphere in the stadium sounded amazing. The team played great. This is my team now. And I was still a Celtic fan. My family are Celtic fans. I had a season ticket for 7 years. I used to go to all the games, but it was becoming a chore because it was a time in Scotland where it was like who's going to score 10 first, Celtic or Rangers. Like the domination was that big. It was just it wasn't a contest anymore. It was like, and there's the you know, if you watch like Spanish football and someone scores, there's that like guttural,
Yeah.
fucking they love it. In Scotland, it was more about way like we scored a goal. Of course we have. I was like, I'm not into this. This is not
Nah.
what I want. I want I want to not know what's going to happen, or we're going to Auxerre away. Are we going to win? Are we going to draw? Are we going to get beat? Like that immersion to make you like care. Then I started like researching again. I can't be half invested. I now start researching all the other teams as well because I need to know fucking everyone. So I became a little bit of a French football aficionado. But Lille was my team, and I was meant to go. I think it was 2007. I was meant to go on St. Paddy's Day to
Okay.
watch Lille against Le Mans. And I'd found a guy online on a forum who was like a Lille stroke Celtic fan, and I was like a Celtic stroke Lille fan at the time. He was going to pick us up, and we're going to go to the game, all this good stuff. And then there was a fire in London at the
What?
Eurostar, and it was like near the Eurostar line. So they stopped, they cancelled all Eurostars for like 48 hours.
Yeah.
So I couldn't go. It was just like, you can't go. I was like, what? Oh,
Ah.
okay. So then I just got absolutely smashed. As you do. Well, I went back to like the travel agent, exchanged my euros back to pounds, and just got wrecked. And then I remember it must have been like 10 o'clock at night. 10 o'clock at night, like totally half cut on my phone looking, and we got beat 2-0 off Le Mans. I was like, fucking thank God I wasn't there. Yes! Like, I've never been so happy to get beat.
I bet.
And then just through like life, and like I was with my then first wife, and like you just don't have time to
Yeah, to do
like,
all the travel and
plan
stuff.
trips to
Really.
France and all that. Yeah, so it wasn't until 2011 I was working for O2 at the time.
Okay.
I got a bonus. It was like a couple £100, and I put on Twitter like I'm going to go to Leo. Does anyone want to come? And there was a guy called Andy Hudson was like, I'll go with you. And I was like, cool. So we booked to go to Leo. I'm trying to find Harry Maguire, and I can't. Has he gone?
He's
Have you
gone.
drafted
I've
him?
had him.
Right. Okay. That's
Why you
he's
can't
gone
find
then.
him.
Who else plays centre back? This is so difficult to talk and think. It sounds like two really basic functions, but this is really hard.
I can't talk and use my brain at the same time. Asking too
It's
much.
just not happening. Especially when you've not drafted before, and I'm like clicking things and nothing's happening. Have you got Ruben Diaz as well?
No.
Oh, why can't I find him then? This is a nightmare.
But I've had Laporte, not Diaz.
Is it probably me just spelling his name wrong or something? I don't know.
So if you just come on to like find player, clear all your filters, and just select centre back, it should come up straight away. Because I can see it on my screen. You got 10 seconds to go. As we say that.
I found Junior Diaz. What the fuck's he?
I'm guessing you've got like a club.
I've got the stupid club filters on.
And Joe Hart's in goal. You can sit on the bench. It's fine.
I mean, you're going to take bloody Diaz there, aren't you?
I'm not. I'll be kind. As the host, I'll leave him.
Okay.
I'll be nice.
Where was it? Yes, I managed to book a trip to Lille. We went for like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The game was on Sunday night, so we went to Lorient against Valenciennes.
Okay.
It was Valenciennes against Lorient on Friday night. That was Ligue 1. Or was it Ligue 2? I think it was Ligue 2. And then on the train back, we met a guy who was a scout for Spurs.
Oh no!
He had like a list of players that he was watching, and I'm like, he's shit. You're never getting him. He's good. Just like destroying his list, completely destroying his list. He had like Kevin Gamero on his list. And then on the Sundays, I'm going to go watch Eden Hazard and Jovino, and it's like, well, you can take them off your list straight away. They're never coming to you.
No.
I don't think he took too kindly to that.
Well, at least you're honest about it, though.
Yeah, it's just like, because at this point, I knew I'd been following League One for like 6 years at this point, so I knew who everyone was. Like,
yeah.
And realistically, I was like, Hazard's not going to someone who's not in the Champions League. Not happening. It's just not going to be a thing. And Spurs at this point weren't even as good as they are now, which says it all, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
Then on the Saturday, we went to watch the Lille 2 against I forgot Villemobile Sport. And if you don't know the French league, it's like a mixture of like actual teams, youth teams, and then the youth teams have got a mixture of like old guys and new guys. It's a very it's a weird system. I think it works for fans. I don't think it would work here. I think there's always that talk of like the youth teams getting into English football. The pyramid's too good in England to be a thing. It's just in France it works though. I'm trying to find a right back. God, you'll do.
Yeah, I've got like 2 right backs already. Or 2, yeah. I've got Selic from Lille and I've got Baldock from Sheffield United.
That's why I couldn't get Zeki Celik because you've got him.
Already.
So when to watch Lille do, and you don't get teams given out, you don't get any information. You're just looking at numbers without names on it, and I'm like, this left back's a bit keen. He's taking corners, he's taking free kicks. Like, who's this kid? And it was Luca Dean.
Oh yeah.
Who, if everyone says his name, if you say his name other way than Luca Dean, you're wrong.
Yeah.
It's not Dinya, it's Dean.
Yeah.
This comes from me watching years of watching the people at Lille announce his name. It's Luca Dean. Let's get that out of there. And yeah, he was like this left back looks class playing for the second team, and then it wasn't long till he was in the first team, and then going to PSG and whatnot. Great little player. It's stuff like that I love watching French football. That you see these kids before anyone knows who they are. So you think about it. I've supported this team for 7 years, and I've never seen them play in person. I've never been to the city. And I'm always like, what if I don't like them? What if I don't like the city? what if I just like have a really bad time and I've just wasted like 7 years of my life?
Imagine.
And then we were playing in an old athletic stadium. There's a long story about the stadium. I won't get into that. But it was like a temporary home that lasted for 7 years.
Okay.
Says it all. Yeah. And you have to kind of, because it's an old athletic stadium, you kind of walk upstairs and you kind of come out at the top of the stadium and they like walk down to your seat.
Okay.
And as soon as I got to the top and I'm stood at the top with like the floodlights, teams warming up, there's something inside went, yep, this will do. This is
my team.
This is where you're meant to be. This is it. And it was we're walking to the ground, and I love this story. And me and Andy are walking. We're talking in English, obviously. And there's a guy in front of us turns around. He's like, "Oh, why are you here?" It's like, "Here to watch Leo." And he's like, "But why?" and I was like, "Because they're my team." And he's like, "But why?"
Doesn't understand it at all.
He's like, "You have the Premier League. You can go watch all these teams." Like, "No, this is my team." He's just like, "What have you done, mate?" Like, you can see his eyes going like, you fucked up here." Because at this point, like, they'd only been in the league for like 3 years, I think.
Yeah.
And this was a season that actually went on to win the league, was 2011. But obviously at this point, we're challenging for the league. But it's very much, it's not really a football town. And it's hard to explain that. It's like, football in France is never a priority for anyone. Like, if you've got like family stuff, that comes first. Like you go to your family and you like spend time with them. Like football is like a religion. It's not in France, it's like a pastime.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very different thing. So they don't understand people come and travel and like on a bus overnight to come watch their team who isn't even that good. They're like, "Why are you here? Like, you weirdo." They just don't get it. And I get that. I understand that, but I think they don't understand this a passion that maybe British people have when they get invested in a team. It's like, this is my team. Like, and we're speaking to people in Leo who'd never even been to a game, and I'm getting mad at them, going, "You live here. You could go every week."
Yeah.
And I'm getting on a bloody bus or Eurostar. Like,
I'm doing all this travelling.
Yeah, they just don't get it. So yeah, Leo's been my team. I was lucky. I managed to live in Leo for a year. 2013, I got divorced. Basically, was how it happened. And I was like, I'm going to move to France because that's what you do.
Of course.
And I was like doing my career as a freelance journalist at the time, doing a lot of Ligue 1 stuff. I was like, well, where better to be than to be in the city and doing it properly. So yes, I bought myself a one-way ticket to Lille on the Eurostar from Glasgow and didn't look back. So this is what I'm going to do. Yeah, I went to 55 games that season.
Wow.
Went to Lille, I went to Lille 2, I went to watch under-19s. There's a lot of local teams that play. Like Pascal Sigan was a sporting director at Vascal. I'm going to go watch them. Qua play in the fifth tier. And so I was watching, do you remember Camille Gilas that played for Hull?
Name rings a bell.
Yeah, I remember I watched him in the fifth division. I watched him in the fifth division of French football. because he was like, because when you're coming back from injury, you'll play like for the second team to kind of get fitness back.
Yeah.
I'm watching him play against like amateur players. It's like this is cool. I like this. I'm in for a bit of this.
Well, going back to
yeah.
what you were saying, sorry, previously, you mentioned like
yeah.
your career in journalism. How did that all come about then? Like, where'd that start? Oh, you mentioned you did something little. Where did it all start off and go from there, basically?
I started blogging in 2010 around the South Africa World Cup.
Okay.
I made the decision to, and you'll know the grind of this. Thought, let's do a daily blog about the World Cup. And like 4 days in, you're like, yeah. And then like 8 days in, you're like, why have I done a daily blog? Why? Why? But there's so many more days left. Why?
I know. How long's left to the final?
Yeah, you've got like 20 views. And you're like, oh, I need to keep doing this. The people want my content.
There's 20 people really want to see this.
Yeah, exactly. So I started blogging, and it was very different to how the world is now. Like Michael Cox, Zonal Markin had just started as well. Like there was a lot of people starting out that have gone on to like really big things, who all started, and like everyone, the kind of blogging and just kind of, and it's very similar to now, kind of the content creator, that everyone's like having a go now and like trying to be content creators. And
yeah,
I can see a lot of similarities as to what happened then as to what happened now, and that, and in a good way. Like people are trying to do it, and like a lot of guys said, it's maybe not for everyone, but have a crack at it and try and get better. And it's what I did. And I was doing, like, I started doing a podcast called the Gib Show, and that was fun. And just like throwing myself at this, and as a hobby, not knowing it's going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And then let me just try and find a striker first before you can. Oh God, am I picking Edison Cavani? Jesus, I'm picking Edison Cavani.
Oh, right. I'm going to buy next as well.
Is that a striker? He'll do. He does that league on English kind of border.
Yeah, why not?
So I did an article on Celtic were playing Utrecht in the UEFA, it was Europa League, UEFA Cup, whatever it was called back then. And I did I watched like 3 or 4 of their games, and I was like, I need to find out how good this team is and how Celtic will do against them, and is there anything that Celtic can like use to beat them. And I wrote this like 2,000 word scouting report, and STV, like the equivalent to ITV in England, picked up and like, can we put this on our website? And I was like, oh no, hell yeah, you can do that. And then there was no money involved, but they said, oh, would you mind? Do you want to do like some more articles on like the European opponents of the other Scottish teams? So I was like, yeah, definitely. And I think in the same day, Celtic, Motherwell, and someone else all got knocked out the second leg, so I was left with Rangers, and that was it.
Just Rangers had to do
it. Being like a Celtic fan growing up was like. And to me, it was like, oh, this is a test. Can I write about this team in a kind of non-biased kind of way? And I'm looking at their opponents, so there's no harm. But you kind of have to know how Rangers play as well. But it's not the hardest thing to work out. So I wrote like 6 articles for STV, and it went really well. And then starters like, well, this might be a thing that I can actually do. And you start picking up bits and bobs. And I'd launched a site called French Football Weekly, which became really, really quite popular amongst like people wanting to know. And our whole thing was like, we will tell you the players coming to England, how they've done in France, how they play, how they're going to fit in. Like you're not going to get a better scouting report than what we were going to give you.
Yeah.
And it started getting picked up on, and people were like, well, this is decent content. This is like, and we got bigger and bigger. And I'm trying to think of what positions I've got on the left. I've got 13 people who can play left mid. That doesn't sound good. God.
If I have 12 cams, supposedly.
And then I'm looking for the teams going, I can't pick Chelsea, I can't pick West Ham, I can't pick there. Like, who is left? Can I just go on the Leo team? Can you do it like this? Who's left? Oh, God. Sorry, viewers, I have no idea what I'm doing here.
It's all part of the content. I suppose with like that coming in mind, obviously you mentioned about like 5 seconds of I'll pick someone.
Pick anyone. Yes. I don't know who was picked. Nathan Aki, that'll do.
Good enough, he does a job.
Yeah, so the website had been going really well. I was writing for the Mirror as like for exposure, as they put it.
Yeah.
And then after a few weeks, I was like, when you can see on WordPress like where your views are coming from, and we were getting like 6 from the Mirror. I was like, well, we're not getting any exposure, and I'm writing for you for free.
Yeah.
So I just told them, I said, look, I can't do this for free. Either you pay me for it, "Oh, we just call it a day. Cheers."
Uh-huh.
And they were like, "Oh, well, we can't pay. We don't have the budget. Bye." I was like, "Cool." And then Eden Hazard moved to Chelsea.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Hi, Andrew, can you write a piece about Eden Hazard and we'll pay you 50 quid?" And I was like, "You bet I can." And I still don't think to this day I've knocked out like 1,000 words quicker, because like, I've watched this kid for what, the best part of 8-9 years. I know
Yeah.
everything about him, but I don't have to think about it. And I think I wrote it in maybe half an hour. And I think it was like the most viewed thing on the Mirror website for like a week.
Oh yeah, I bet.
So yeah, it went really well. And then Giroud moved to Arsenal, and like I was an expert on Giroud. But then like, watching that Montpellier side that won the league were amazing. And then Newcastle got their French obsession and signed everyone. And I made like 200 quid on that alone.
Oh, I
And
bet.
that started like to be like you sort of realize your worth. Like, I can make money from this. Stop doing it for free.
Oh yeah,
And
definitely.
then I started writing for WhoScored.com, and they just started doing like pieces with like stats and stuff. And there comes a point, and I remember I was speaking to Omega Luke about this. There comes a point where the time you have in between your full-time job and like your life and all that, there's only so much you can actually do. Like, there needs to be a point where you dive in and just
Yeah.
go, fuck it. And I could get more money if I had more time. And that's when the sort of divorce happened. And I was like, right, I'll give myself 3 months to make enough to survive.
Okay.
Like, I don't need to be rolling in it. I just need to be able to cover all my costs, and then we can go from there. And then I'm trying to find players. This is hard. I'm just looking for. I find someone, and I see like the tech, and I'm like, I'm not drafting Jeremy PA. That's the awful decision. There's no one left. Oh God. Looks like I'm drafting Jeremy PA. Oh God. If you'd have told me before this I was going to draft someone as bad as him. Oh, is that a Man City player? I don't know who that is. You'll do. Yeah, so I gave myself 3 months. Like, if I can make around, say, £600 a month, that would cover the things that I need to pay for and give me some money to spend, whatever. And I managed to get that. I got like a full-time gig with Who Scored, doing so many articles a week. I was writing for a South Korean website, and it was like, just send in the copy, we'll translate it. It's like, okay, like the most bizarre, like, you get these things that no one will ever read it because it's in South Korea. But
Yeah.
I was doing it every week and getting 50 quid a week for it. Like, it was magical.
Mad.
Moved to France, and in France my rent was €200 a month.
Wow.
My electricity bill was €9 a month.
Oh my gosh.
My 200 meg fiber broadband with, and I still don't know why this technology does not exist in this country. The phone plugged into the router, and I could make international calls for free. Like, why is this not a thing? I still don't get why. I mean, this was we're now 8 years since I've been in Leo.
Yeah.
Why does this not exist? So I could phone like my mum and my gran and stuff for free, crystal clear quality. It was amazing.
Mad.
So I think I had something like 400, 500 euros spare a month, even though I was only making like 600 quid. I've never had so much spare money in all my life, like even now. Like, it was great. And that, yeah, they helped me like pick up jobs and stuff and do loads of things and get writing for like 5, 6, 7 different sites, and just kind of build that freelance career up, which was amazing.
So we're all drafted, ready to go for the match. Let's get over to it right now. Right, so here we go then. Here are the lineups. You can see my 11 there. Very Manchester United orientated. Bit of Man City in there with one little player. We're going to Gib's team here. David, Silva, De Bruyne, Phillips. Right, Man City centre pairing. Joe Hart in there. Big Joe Hart.
Didn't pick him. It's all his fault. It's all his fault.
Don't put it on there. Right. So we get underway then. So we met through the like Meet the Football Manager pretty recently, like between like YouTube content and stuff like that. Yeah. Where did the content journey begin for you exactly?
Oh, God, content. It started. I hadn't played Football Manager properly since like FM10, and then the pandemic hit, and everyone's like bored. So I was like, you know what?
Oh my God!
I'll get back out. So I've got a scramble in the box. So I've got Maris, get it away. I've got my friend Tom, my best mate. He has played Football Manager all the way through, and like he was still telling me like his like career stories, like doing the journeyman stuff or being Marseille or whatnot. Oh, Fernandez, damn it! I was like, oh, he's kind of like, he's talked me into it. I'll get back into it. Got FM20, And I was like, imagine the change in the game from those like 10 editions. Like,
Yeah.
it was totally different for anything. I was like, tactics look totally different. So it was like, I'm going to go. I used to hate going to French teams, even though like, I was fully invested in the French league, because it didn't seem to mirror what I knew.
Yeah.
Or like teams would make transfers. I'm like, well, that's not realistic. And it just annoyed me. Because like, I think that's what put me off doing Football Manager. Because I was like, no, we should be able to. Leo should be able to sign this or do this guy. It just said, the realism wasn't there for me. So I was like, so I picked to go FC20 because I'd been there. I'd been to Enschede for the Women's Euros in 2015.
Okay.
I was like, oh, I'll go 20. I didn't realize they'd just been promoted as well. So I was like, oh, I've gone one of the worst teams in Holland. Great. I managed to win eventually 4 Eredivisie titles in a row. I was like, that got me back in. I was like, I'm hooked now. I'm back in. It's got me. And then it was through watching like Tony and Matt's Football Manager Therapy podcast, kind of getting like listening to that and getting a bit more in depth. And then you start watching, you pick it up. If you just told me a year ago, I'd be watching people on YouTube. Like YouTube, it was like the odd music video and stuff like that. Maybe like a walkthrough for a game you're stuck on. That was what YouTube was to me. And then you start watching creators, and I'm like, right, okay. Then through watching Tony, I was like, I could do this. Like this seems like the kind of thing that I can chat. I've done podcasts and stuff. I had 2 award-nominated podcasts in my time. Roughly, I can chat to people.
What was that, Lou?
And then didn't have any of the resources whatsoever. Didn't have a webcam. I was using a MacBook. And the MacBook has one of the best processors. Like for playing the game, it's amazing. For doing content, there's no graphics card. It's rubbish.
Yep, I had that problem before I first started the MacBook Air. It wasn't great.
You had the MacBook as well. But like the actual processor, I've done a test with this laptop one now. It's got a graphics card, and the Mac's 5 minutes faster processing a week on the game. Like the processor is amazing, just doesn't have anything else you need to make content. I started thinking about I can do some content, and then I picked to do kind of like a South American journeyman, like Pentagon. I called it the hexagonal because that's hexagon in Spanish, you know.
Yeah.
And just got and when you watch any of the big guys, they always say just get started. Like the hardest thing to do is just to get started. I'm like, do you know what?
Definitely.
Let's give it a try. And I would hate to watch my first video back because it's terrible. It was me trying to find a job in South America. It's horrendous. But you have to start somewhere, and you have to just try and look at it and get better. And now I've got like a proper webcam. I've even bought another. I'm getting absolutely spanked here. What is going on?
You're offside anyway, I think. Is he offside?
It's usually allowed. It's going to be allowed. There we go.
There we go. Free.
Jesus Christ. What is happening here? Have I even had...
Stelic on this right-hand side has been really good with it. He's been properly involved, and then Ronaldo's just been assisting everyone.
Getting beat off fucking Ronaldo.
I blame Joe Hart.
It's Joe Hart. I told you it's Joe Hart's fault. A decent keeper would have saved him.
Exactly.
I don't even know what to change. That's a great ball.
It's pinpointing it from Ronaldo, to be fair. Absolutely pinpoint.
Come on, lads. Where's Berate? Let's get some Berate on here.
So I'm going to go with something. Oh, go on, carry on.
Yeah, no, it's kind of went from there and just... I think because the pandemic and needing a hobby, and like I said at the start, I can't be half invested. Is there something I can take it further? I will do it. So rather than just sitting playing the game like everyone else, no, I need to make videos and content. And now I'm writing for a website. I write for Football Manager Story website about the games. Like, because it's just one of those things. And now, oh God, hell, this is embarrassing. Can you just cut this whole match out? We'll just chat. We'll
just put a blank screen in the background instead.
Yeah,
to watch the game.
Just put our faces up. No one needs to see this. This is ridiculous. I'm not getting invited to any. Well, I might get invited to the drafts through this. Be the lucky boy.
You just need some practice, mate. It comes with practice, honestly. All these tactics have been destroying people of late for me anyway, so I can't really say much with the right players.
This is the problem. I now got 2 laptops, and I play on my Mac mostly, and then I come upstairs and do content on this. I don't have any of my things loaded on this. That's my excuse. I don't have my tactics. That's what I'm going with.
Come back another time, have another go. Oh, Joe, I'll save something. Finally,
I think so. I played PvP a little bit last game with Stinger and JD. We started to do a Bundesliga network things. I played 3 games PvP. But I'm it's the one thing. It's the one thing in the game I haven't done yet. Has got into this PvP sides. I don't know what works. I don't know what doesn't work. Bernardo Silva's on a 6.3. What the?
Rodri's on a 6.9 for me, so everyone else is on like high 7s and 8s, and there's Rodri on a 6.9. I mean, he's in a DM role, probably in touching the ball, that's probably why.
Make some changes. Make some changes. Nathan Ake. Why did I pick Nathan Ake? I don't have anyone else. Oh well.
Oh dear.
That's what happens.
Still getting on the toilet. So with Football Manager as well then, so obviously you've mentioned like to say like you're not 20 and a bit more recently. Do you remember what your first save ever was on FM? Like you're going back a while. Obviously you mentioned like you try to avoid some of the French league stuff.
No, I don't remember what my first save was. I remember I've got a mate called Stuart Ryan who I went to school with. And he had the PC. He was the one with the PC and the internet. So he's the one you would go to. Or you want to like. I remember printing out like NBA rosters so I could look at NBA players. Like that's the level we're at. I remember being at his and we played. I think it was 01-02, and there was a striker that played for Paris Saint-Germain called Rudy Haddad, and he had 17 finishing. He had nothing else.
Yeah,
he was fast. He had 17 finishing. I was obsessed with this guy. Was going to be like the next big thing just because of that. Those attributes, and I remember that, and that's like really, really early on. And I remember a save with Leo where I sold Rio Mavuba and bought Andre Arshavin up front before when he was playing for Zenit, and that's like and then probably the biggest save I remember, and I'm trying to remember, it must have been 10. Was it 10? It might have been before 10. So I was in Leeds at uni at the time, and I went to Leeds in 2004. So maybe it was like before that, 07, something like that. And I went Partick Thistle when they were in the third tier of Scottish football.
Okay.
And for 2 seasons, you had no money because they were like bankrupt when you started. And it was like loan deals and free signings. I signed a guy called Fabian Brandy, who's an ex-Man United youth player.
Name rings a bell, actually, yeah.
And I got them all the way to the UEFA Cup from like bankruptcy, and I was always quite proud of that save. That's the one. Yeah. That's the first one where I got like proper into it. And it's like at this point, you're not talking on Twitter. Twitter didn't exist. You're not on forums. You're not on Discord. It's just you.
Just you just playing
this little save on your own.
Tell your friends. That's about it.
Yeah, and I loved that save. And it's like one of those you just get buying players for free, selling them on, making a profit, bringing them in again, and keep building the team up. And I really enjoyed that save. Then I had one where I was Palermo, and the first time I'd done Serie A, and we finished top. It was like joint points, and I didn't realize there was a playoff if it was like joint points. So I'm like celebrating, I've won the title and like goal difference. Like yes, there's like you play a game in 3 days against Roma or something for the title. I was like what? And we got beat. I was raging. I think I never played that save again. I was so annoyed.
I bet.
These rules that you don't know about and like. You don't check like the table for the rules. You just play it, and I was raging. They were the kind of the 2 proper saves that got me like, invested before. I think when you become a journalist and you're really invested in football and you're kind of like real football, I found it difficult to play games because it wasn't quite mirroring like what I knew and stuff. I was like I was too invested in the real stuff.
You see these players sort of feeling, you see like numbers on the screen, like well no, they're not that good. They can't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Or hitting a good cross, so I've always got like 15 crossing, stuff like that.
And sometimes not knowing is better. Like having that, sometimes too much knowledge is a bad thing. Like if as soon as you see something like say Luka Dean's taking free kicks and you go in the game and he's got like 12, you're like, no, he's much better than that. That's things like that just really nitpick. That's not good. Whereas if you go and manage in Indonesia and you don't know who anyone is, it doesn't matter what the numbers are.
No, exactly.
You don't care, and I think that helps you get immersed more than. I think I was just drilling down too much into what I knew, especially with the young kids as well in League. We did a thing called the 50, which was the 50 best young players in France. And like we had like Forgan Hazard on there before anyone knew who he was. Like all these young players that people don't know, and obviously now it's Wonder Kids. And I used to get so annoyed by the phrase, "Oh, he's great on Football Manager." It used to really boil me. I was like, it's like you've never watched them play. Like I'm sat watching football 10 matches a weekend to know these players, and you just come out with he's good in Football Manager. Like that's not research. That's not scouting. Nope. Like now I'm making bloody Wonder Kid videos. I hate myself. I think when you're that immersed in the real side of it, that like people just like the throwaway comment of, yeah, he's really good in Football Manager. He was great in 2025 with my like Swindon save. Like, it's not real. And now I'm proper like telling stories on the internet about things that aren't real. It's bizarre.
It's how things go around, isn't it?
Yeah, it's gone kind of full circle. I'd hate myself now if I was on the internet going, get him. He's never watched that wonder kid in Norway play. He doesn't know who he is. Like,
all right, you ready for second half?
Let's do it. Yeah, I'm not. Like, we're going to get absolutely. If we can win the second half, that's my only hope. Come on, boys.
So I've got one for you now. Then based on Lille, then it's a new game we're going to play on the channel called Shoot, Transfer, Keep Forever at the club. So you got Renato Sanchez, Jonathan David, Sven Botman. You got shoot one, transfer one, and one you keep forever. Who's going to be?
It's difficult because Jonathan David is the Ligue 1 top scorer at the moment, and I don't know how. Like, whenever I watch him, I think he's rubbish. But he's one of those players who seems to get in the right position all the time, and he'll score. Like, the goal at the weekend, like, the keeper should save it. The keeper should save it, and he doesn't score. But it goes in, and he's like, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, Jonathan David's amazing." I'm like, "Oh, have you actually watched him?"
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense. Go on, Mahrez.
He's offside.
Oh.
I know. His flag's down still.
Come on, you got to give it. Come on, VAR.
You put your flag up, so I'm guessing he will.
They're waiting.
Oh, tension.
Time.
It's loud. It's just a lino. He's not looking at the game. Lucky Riyadh.
So Sven Botman is amazing.
Yeah,
and I love him. But I think as a Lille fan, you're always resigned to the fact that they're all going to leave because that's what happens. Like,
it's a selling club, isn't it? Very much.
My third season as a Lille fan, we sold 17 players. You just start getting invested. Like, oh no, I know who everyone is now. I know who they are. I know how they play. Oh, they're all gone. Great. So you become very quickly accustomed to that everyone's going to leave. That's and you're fine with it. Come on, lads, we're playing better here.
Alien?
Oh,
this comebacks on.
Who had Luke Ayling as my first scorer? No one.
No one ever.
To wing back. So I think I'm going to keep Sven Botman forever because he's probably going to be the first one to leave.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to have to shoot Renato Sanchez because he's such a frustrating player. He's the kind of player on Football Manager you look at and you go, wow, he's amazing.
Yeah.
And then a season and you're like, why is he averaging a 6.4? Like, attribute-wise and skill-wise, he's fantastic. His actual application is not as good as what he looks. Go on, Sancho. We're coming back, lads.
As he assists Sancho just then as well. Just to say that. Gets the assist. Like, don't shoot me, boss. I'll do something. Watch. What happened here?
Down from Sanchez off your defender's shoulder. Sancho with the volley. Love it.
Oh dear, what's happening here? I'm bottling it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna shoot Renato Sanchez just for. I don't think he's ever going to be the player that everyone hopes he's going to be. I'll keep Sven Botman forever because he could be the anchor for your centre back for another 10 years easily.
Yeah.
Then what am I doing to Jonathan David? Then am I transferring him?
Yeah, you got to transfer him.
And it makes sense because right now his stock is as high as it's ever going to be. And I think we paid 30 million for him. So we need someone to spend 40, 50 to kind of get our system working. And I think he's the one we'll make the biggest profit off. So
you'd think so. You think you'd go for at least 45, I reckon.
Yeah, goal scorer. Like if he's scoring goals in Ligue 1, like we got a very good deal for Pepe. We got a very good deal for Victor Osimhen.
Yeah,
let's do the same with Jonathan David, and then we'll just buy the next guy from Belgium or somewhere and just keep it rolling. And that is such a hard policy to kind of run your club by because eventually you're going to sign some duffs. You're going to sign some duffers.
Oh yeah, happens to everyone.
Profit. Yeah, and we've not brought any youth through for age. I think Origi was probably the last youth player we brought through. And we only started playing him because his dad was kicking off and he wanted to leave. And we're like, God, better give him some minutes then. And then he left, and he's Liverpool's like last gaff saviour, but does nothing else. Like,
literally just comes on from the bench. There's not a bit of business here and there. Laporte,
get away! And Origi moved too quickly. Like he had one good season. We loaned him to Liverpool, and then why is he going to? He's never going to come back to us. He's never going to. They loaned him back to us.
Yeah,
but he didn't have to try anymore. He'd already got his move.
Exactly, it was done then, and it sort of thing. So like, why isn't it try season?
He'd even better if he'd have gone to somewhere else where he had to like earn a spot, but he kind of swanned back and was going to start every game because he was the big star and he'd already got his move. Like, I think if he'd gone to a team maybe a different league and he had to try, it'd have been better for
Yeah.
his progression. He just sort of stagnated then. But yeah, that's Leo's whole profit model, is just buy and sell, and yeah, you get used to it. And I think everyone in the summer was like, "Oh, the team's going to be broken up. They're champions. It's such a shame." Like, it's not. It's what we do. Like, becoming
You're used
champions
to it.
just means we're going to make even more money off them because they've won
What
the
was
league.
that
It's
though?
great. Like,
Champions League
we
players
did,
now.
I wanted to win the second half, and we did. That's all I can ask
Well, you
for.
did. I didn't score any goals. You scored 2,
Yeah.
so can't lose.
Didn't get embarrassed as much as I thought I was gonna.
So, with all that being done and me winning, I'm going to give everyone where they can find on socials, YouTube, Twitch. Obviously, you just started streaming as well, so give all that information to everyone to come find you, and all the links will be below for them anyway.
Yeah, I've just started streaming on Twitch. You can come find me there at twitch.tv/the Gib Show. I am the Gib Show on YouTube as well. On Twitter, it's Gibney_A. I can't change that because I've got a blue tick, Murph. You've seen that? I've got a blue tick.
Oof.
Yeah. That's been a journalist. I shouldn't have it anymore. I've not been a journalist for years, but
It's weird that you can't change it though, even though you got the tick. If you better change it surely, but I suppose if you...
it's, as soon as you go to change it, it says like if you change this, you'll lose your blue tick. So I'd rather have the blue tick than the. Because do you know why? Because you get to get rid of all the dickheads. You just you can got like different mentions. You've got different filters.
Oh really? Oh,
yeah.
Behind the curtain. I love this.
Big time.
big time Gib over here behind the curtain with the verifications. Well, thanks again for joining us today, mate. It's been a really good draft. Getting to know you as well. A lot of information I didn't know about you, which is quality as well. And I'm sure everyone watching say the exact same thing in the comments down below. So, again, thanks for joining us today. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, hit that subscribe button, give it a thumbs up. Go check Gib out on Twitch, YouTube, hit him on his socials, and we'll see you again soon, guys. Thanks again for watching.